need to have these cards before the Yu-Gi-Oh! National Championship. Big dog, with everybody so focused on the Fiendsmith engine dropping $450 to get it, they don't have enough money to be able to pick up some really handy cards. Today, I'm going to be talking about some cards that I think you should be taking advantage of. And of course, I apologize to everyone on Twitch for my internet doing the thing. But if you wanted this information early, you can catch me on Twitch for future videos or join my Patreon as a special thank you for helping me pay my editor. Let's go ahead and jump on in. Okay, big dog, so before we get into the video, I'm telling you right now, this is not a prediction. I am telling you right now, I do not control the market. I think one of the biggest misconceptions to content creators is that we get the blame for cards going up in price, when all in actuality, we are just shedding the light on these cards that people are picking up. And I can't really give you the 411 on how other content creators work, but it's not only just me, it's a group of people, highly competitive players and people that have got deep bucks into the market that also give me this information on side of me spending my whole life playing Yu-Gi-Oh! So I know what's up. God, I'm old. And then of course, there are the obvious misses that will happen in the market. Not everything I say will come into fruition. If it did, then you guys would have a good case to tell me that I make everything skyrocket in price. Ignore Crimson Lotus. But I genuinely think these are some cards that I'd rather be caught with than without. And the first one is going to be Curry Photon. Now, Curry Photon is a level 1 light fiend. This means that this card is already searchable through Fiendsmith Tractus, but it actually solves a huge problem that's happening in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. I don't know if you guys have been living under a rock or something, but there's this really powerful deck called Gimmick Puppet, and it's built on being able to FTK, that's right, finish the entire game off before you can start your turn, and it does it through burn damage. Fortunately enough, this little Karibo-like teardrop ugly looking fiend card can prevent you from losing the game. But wait, there's more. Curry Photon also has a unique property to prevent you from being OTK'd, which is kind of important in this Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta. Between Snake Eyes decks being able to do it with the World Sea Dragons Elantis combo, and Tempai Dragon being a deck that can naturally just OTK you, Curry Photon could be a pretty good card to get a hold of. What's even better about this card is that it came out in a 2013 Zexal Collection tin and as an Advent calendar as ultra rare and super rare respectively. That means that these cards are ultra hard to get a copy of if you want the bling bling, but you can also pick up the common copies. Look, man, I'm not laughing because I don't speak broke. I'm laughing because I do speak broke, so I understand the struggle. I don't expect Curry Photon to be the most devastating card, a blowout card that you must play, but I do expect, because of its scarcity and because of its current price point, it could afford to go up a little bit more, which means you probably should have it just in case, especially if you are under those circumstances. Now, this particular video isn't going to be about just all old cards. Come on now. Boomer Cali would probably have our head. Old cards, you say? I remember back when I had the fresh lineup, the fresh outfit. I had the whole parking lot on Smash. Those were the good old days. Back when Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards were great. Not this other riff raff with the one card combos and all the link summoning and stuff. What was I talking about? Yeah. Anyways, have I told you about Gladiator Beast? This deck is a one-hitter quitter that can do a tons of things. All you have to do is go into the battle phase. But since people are investing so much into Fiendsmith, I think that they're actually leaving out some really important cards. In all honesty, they're damn near throwing these cards away. I got these cards for essentially free because they were so focused on the high end. They forgot that Top Hair Rabbit is a really good card. Silhouette Rabbit is a crazy good generic Yu-Gi-Oh! Card. All it requires is 2 effect monsters and it can't be destroyed by battle because it's an illusion. The turn that it's link summoned, it allows you to be able to set a continuous trap card that can be treated as a monster, which does sound like a joke until you remember that very powerful Outlet cards did exist back in the day, and then you start digging a little bit deeper for other powerful continuous trap cards that become monster. What I've come across is Angel Statue Azaroon, which allows me to be able to negate an opponent's summon, but also can destroy a card when it's destroyed. It's a double win-win. I don't know about you guys, but a generic searchable Solemn Warning seems like a solid Yu-Gi-Oh! Card, and seeing that that set came from a set that nobody wanted to buy unless they were pulling Pot of Extravagance, that's a double win in my book. But Silhouette Rabbit actually does have another dangerous effect. If a card is special summoned from the spell and trap card zone to the monster zone, you can destroy one spell or trap on the field. Keep in mind, I said card. It doesn't have to be the trap monsters that you're summoning to your side of the field. It can actually be your opponent's Snake Eyes monsters that they are summoning. It can be your Centurion monsters. It can be your toy cards from your White Woods deck. This card is just so versatile. Easily, hands down, one of the best cards in the entire set. I'm definitely picking these up as soon as I can for the cheapest price possible. And just in case you didn't know, the cheapest price possible for normal Yu-Gi-Oh sets is the Saturday of the event. Make sure you're using my TCG player link that's down below in the comment section. It really helps a broke boy like me. Now, to go back and forth between new cards and cards that I think will be played at the YCS, I think Book of Eclipse is one of the most powerful cards in the game. My brother in Christ, it flips all monsters face down. Face down! I know a couple of things in life that I like face down. My toilet paper. The other way is weird. I think Book of Eclipse is especially powerful when you use it inside of a deck that fusion summons or ritual summons, because now Book of Eclipse can be used offensively to be able to flip your opponent's monsters face down, preventing them from using it for effects like IP Masquerena linking on your turn or stopping some of the most powerful cards in the game, but also can be used defensively to dodge cards like Effect Veiler and Infinite Impermanence. Book of Eclipse, in my head, is one of the most versatile Yu-Gi-Oh cards in the entire game. It doesn't get better than a card that you can use on both players' turns. And that's going to lead me right back to Infinite Forbidden, a card that can be used on both players' turns and maybe just a little bit stronger than Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Dominus Purge can be activated from the hand if your opponent controls a card and serves as an Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, preventing players from adding cards from their deck to the hand. The only drawback is that you can't use the effects of fire, dark, or water for the rest of the duel. God damn. If this card would have came out in any year 2023 and before, this card would have been complete cheeks. My brother in Christ, there's almost literally no Yu-Gi-Oh deck that doesn't use those three attributes. But now that Konami is starting to open up things and make wind, light, earth playable attributes, this card is actually really good. The benefits that I like about this card is that it plays around cards like Triple Tactics Talent and Triple Tactics Thrust. And it's also a card your opponent can't use Heat of the Fire Charmer to summon to the side of the field to continue on their combo. It also can be set as a trap card or just be normally used. But keep in mind, if you set it as a trap card, you can still activate the effect of Dark Fire and water monsters that turn. Hey, look, I'm not telling you to get real risky with this card effect, but I'm just telling you, if you set it, you ain't for the restrictions. Dominus Purge is 100% a long-term investment type Yu-Gi-Oh card, mainly because Rage of the Abyss is thought of to be a water set, and it may be just the year of the water, so it may not be strong anytime soon. But when this card does become strong, keep in mind this card is a secret rare from a set where everybody looked over this particular card in favor of some of the higher, stronger cards. Now, chat normally checks me if I'm tripping, but right now I'm about to go into a Cali special. Is this copium or is this big cookage? Because this particular card has been floating on my mind for the past couple of weeks, and I think can be really, really powerful. Typhoon. No, not Mystical Space Typhoon. No, not Mystical Wind Typhoon or Cloudian Eye of the Typhoon. Typhoon, the trap card. Typhoon, the trap card, says target one spell or trap card your opponent controls and destroy it. But if your opponent has two or more cards in the spell and trap card zone, you can activate this card from your hand. It's essentially a hand trap that destroys spells and trap cards. It's untacticsable, and just like Dominus Purge, it can be set by tactics, untalentable, uncalled byable, and does solve a pretty big problem. A decent amount of top decks in the game play multiples of spell and trap cards. Snake Eyes turns their monsters into spell and trap cards. Yubel not only has their filled spell, but Nightmare Pain. There's actually points in time where Tenpai Dragon could have a filled spell and then activate a spell that's 2 spell cards. I think this card can be genuinely crazy, especially since its highest print was from Dual Devastator so many years ago. This card in Ultra Rare is roughly about 5 years old. In essence, I'm saying this card may not be one of the cards to skyrocket to the top, but at about 15 cents a copy for their Ultra Rare, I'm not taking no chances. This card even stops you from being FTK'd by gimmick puppets. Sit there and think about that one. Now, who knows? I could just be 100% coping on Typhoon. The card just may not be that strong, even though I've been waiting for quite some time for it to be good. But a card that we know is going to be good and people are sleeping on is Tenpai Dragon Genroku. The reason why I think you guys should pick up Tenpai Dragon Genroku is really simple. Every single time there is a very cheap Yu-Gi-Oh deck, Yu-Gi-Oh players find the most expensive card to buy out. Tenpai Dragon is a very cheap Yu-Gi-Oh deck. Even Trident Dragon is getting reprinted. Gee, I wonder what would be the next logical step for Wells to pick up. Oh, I know, the Ultra Rare that just came out. People genuinely think that Ultra Rares are guaranteed, but I'm gonna let you guys know on a little secret. If you buy a case of Ultra Rare cards, you get maybe between 3 and 7 copies. That's not a lot considering that you bought an entire case. This is the exact reason why cards like Kashtira Fenrir were so expensive before. I don't think that Tenpai Dragon Genroku could ever reach that type of level, but $10 for an Ultra Rare card that is part of the cheapest deck in the game, I think there's a reason for it to get a lot more expensive, especially if Tenpai Dragon does well over Nationals. Now again, it does require for Tenpai Dragon to do well over Nationals, just like all of these other cards in this speculation video. But considering the statistics, Tenpai Dragon is the second best deck in the entire game. Granted, the gap is bigger than the Country Girl's 2 front teeth, but it is still second place. Genroku, in my opinion, is one of those cards that I think it's okay to take a risk to get this card at an expensive price, because even if it goes down, you don't run yourself into the situation where you need it and don't have it. Definitely around that $5 to $10 range, I think is perfectly fine to pick up some Genrokus. And lastly is a card that no one sees coming. This card is so bad, it just might be good. Dia Blaster, the Negation Fortress. Chat, hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. I could be stuck in 2015, but this is a level 5 pendulum machine monster that can summon itself to the side of the field. What you trying to say? Not only could this card be used to make a free Cyber Dragon Infinity, yes, I am coping, it's technically Cyber Dragon support, but if Heavy Metal Foes Electromite comes off the list, this card serves the role that Abyss Actor Curtain Raiser used to serve, except it actually can negate cards in the pendulum zone. I think that's pretty cool. It also can cleverly negate cards that your opponent places in the column, or even importantly, negate cards that you don't want activating in your column. See, I'm big brain in here. I think that this is easily another one of those really simple cards that you should be picking up. It makes Cyber Dragons incredibly competitive. Okay, I'm cap. It's one of those goofy, silly cards that I like to pick up. Now, I know for a fact if you did all of this buying with my TCG player link, then you probably broke. Don't worry, big dog, I got you. I'll let you know on the top 5 budget Yu-Gi-Oh decks that you could be getting post Infinite Forbidden. Go ahead and check out that video if you want to know about those particular strategies, or if you just want to know what are overall the best budget decks in the game, I got a tier list with everything, including the Infinite Forbidden strategies that I've talked about. I'll catch you on the next one, big dog.